Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tea
Hello.
Time Tuesday. We are so excited that you are here to join us today. We hope you are enjoying that bossa nova music. It's so nice and relaxing on the top of a Tuesday afternoon. So we hope that you would go and invite your friends and your family and your colleagues. Invite them. Tell them to come join us today for Tea Time Tuesday. We have a lot in store for you with our renewal practices. And if you would so kindly go ahead and like and share this broadcast on your social media platforms as well as joining us on YouTube. Now, if you're joining us, if you have a YouTube account and you want to join us over there, please subscribe while you're there. We would love for
Yes,
you to join in with us over there. Patrick and I are excited that you are here with us. Are you excited, Patrick?
I sure am. It's good to see you. Good to be on today. Absolutely.
Yes, I am too. And so we're going to go ahead with our renewal practices today. But before we do that, we are going to just send out a celebratory shout out for Black History Month. And the Renewal Center is celebrating Black history in the month of February. And, you know, our theme is Know the Past and Shape the Future. And we are observing and commemorating all of African Americans that have made contributions to our society, to our communities, to our nation, and globally. And so this is a wonderful time for us to celebrate Black History Month. Join in with us, and we hope that you are enjoying your time celebrating Black History Month. And I would wear something today, but I forgot all about doing that. Next time I'll wear mine.
That's okay. You're,
So,
you're wearing it in you. So,
yeah.
yes, you're wearing history within. So you're good.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Okay. And so we're going to move on with our Tea Time Tuesday. And we have an exciting tea today for our tea of the week, which is Marsala chai tea. And actually, a lot of us have heard of chai tea, and it's a nice, milky, spicy tea that has originated from India, actually. It's called Marsala tea, but we know it as chai tea, and it's very aromatic. It has some really good uh, elements in it, like cinnamon and cardamom and all these spices, ginger. And I'm telling you, it's just a really nice spicy tea, a smooth tea actually, that kind of give you a
Mm,
little kick for the day. And so we're excited about that. We're still in winter, even though it feels like spring. But the
yes,
masala chai tea would be a great tea for any day, actually.
I haven't
And
had
so
that. I'm going to have to try that one.
you haven't had
Hmm.
that? Oh,
I don't think
it's
so.
good actually.
Yeah.
Nice and
Okay.
milky and
Mm,
spicy.
okay. Yeah, that is a
And
nice
it has a little
wintry.
yeah, it has
Okay.
little peppercorns in it and cloves. I forgot about that.
Mm, okay.
hmm They add
Nice,
with the
nice, nice.
cinnamon and the ginger, kind of makes it nice and spicy. So that's a
Mm,
really nice tea. Once again, our tea of the week is masala chai tea. Masala chai tea. So that's going to be really good when you get it. And so while you are preparing for our time to locate ourselves, what is your tea of choice today? Go ahead and put it in the chat. We would love to hear what you're drinking today. And while you're doing that, we're gonna just relax ourselves. This is our time to just wind down this Tuesday afternoon and take a moment to bring calm into our moment. And we're gonna locate ourselves. So just take in some nice deep breath. And if some of you may be wanting to just relax your hands, I know I'm like to just rub my hands. And as Patrick is doing, he's kind of getting his neck and shoulders relaxed. And so that's what we're going to do. Take time out to pause and bring calm. That is so good. I feel rejuvenated. And I tell
Mhm.
you, I can't wait for our time today for our renewal practices, because Patrick is going to talk about safeguarding your well-being. Anybody can apply this to their lives. This is for everyone. Yes, safeguarding your well-being during times of upheaval. And so once again, we want to say welcome to everyone that's coming on board for Tea Time Tuesday. Sit back and relax. Hope you got your tea. Hope you have your journal and your mind is ready and set. And so I got mine, Patrick, what are you drinking over there?
Vanilla tea, actually. So it's very refreshing this morning. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Hope, good to
Good
see
tea
you.
time.
All right, Alicia, hello. Michelle, hello. Monique, hello. All right, our tea timers are on. All right. Ginger turmeric tea.
Sounds
Spiced
good.
chai tea.
Okay, Michelle.
Alicia, hello. Good to see everybody. So please go ahead, if you don't mind, tag others, share this on your pages. Let's get the engagement up today. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. Hope is doing ginger tea, so no Earl Grey for Hope. All right, switching it up there. All right, it's good to have everybody on. Please take a time to pause, to reset, to build resilience. Yesterday, as I was sharing in a live mail, I was talking about the importance of, you know, ensuring that we watch the first 60 minutes to 90 minutes of every day and how we
Mm,
close out our day, the last hour to
yeah.
hour and a half, because that'll
Mm,
impact, the tune and the tone of our day, but also it impacts what we dream about, you know, because what we're conscious of eventually goes into our subconscious. And so we have to be mindful of what we are conscious of so that whatever we're conscious of, we watch how it goes into our subconscious. And so important that we're able to do that. And so I want to make sure that I mention that, because today's session is really based on how do we safeguard your well-being during this time of global upheaval. I think the last time we were together, I was talking about the power of a great question, and that was
mhm.
the question
That
that we
was good.
ended tea time on.
Hmm.
So today we're going to bring that forward today, and we're going to work out some of the new practices to help us safeguard our well-being. So I have my journal here with my notes already in it, actually. So I'm going to take some additional notes because I'm sure we're going to get some engagement today from each of
Hmm.
you in our tea time community. And so I want to start out with this question, and then I want to go through a few renewal practices to help us focus on safeguarding our well-being. But let's start out with the definition of safeguarding. If you don't mind, put in the comments, tea timers, when you think of the word safeguarding, what comes to your mind when you think about safeguarding? And again, here at the Renewal Center, tea time is about pausing, resetting, and build resilience. So today we're doing all three. We're pausing because we're taking a moment to reflect. We're resetting because there's a lot going on in our world right now: social, political, governmental, you name it, tragedies, challenges that are happening. And then building resilience. And we do that through community. We don't do that alone. We build resilience by the ability to bounce back, also comes with how we connect. And so your comments and your engagement is so important to us. And so we want to encourage you to please share your perspectives. What does safeguarding mean to you? When you think about the word safeguarding, I want to talk about that. And then what does well-being mean to you? So two definitions we're looking for today. We're looking for the safeguarding part, that's one, and then well-being, that's the other. So those are the two that we want to either define or describe today. Camilla, any thoughts on, what you think about when you think about the word safeguarding, or when you think about the word well-being, or, either or. So
Hmm.
what are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, my thoughts about what is safeguarding, I said protecting. Um, really intentionally protecting, intentionally putting parameters and boundaries in place to protect what's good, protect what's yours, or protect something, because you could be safeguarding something. And so you were saying well-being. I would say well-being is kind of like flip-flop for me, is being well. And it means emotionally, being well emotionally, being well um, financially, being well physically. And so I would put it together. It would be protecting or putting parameters around me being well and keeping it that way.
Thank you for sharing that. We got some other comments coming in, and we're
Mm-hmm.
hearing the same thing resonate: protecting,
Mm-hmm.
fortifying, seeing, setting boundaries, protect
Yes.
physically, mentally, emotionally. Safeguarding to me is protecting, protecting my mental space and capacity. All right, thank you
Mm.
all. Safeguarding. Now let's go to the other side. What is well-being? Let's think about that. What is well-being? And again, today's focus is about what do we need to do to understand how to safeguard your well-being during times of upheaval. So we have this theme, Carmela, that we're seeing: protection, fortifying.
Mm-hmm.
I think about, when I think about safeguarding, I think about covering, and I think about filtering is what I think when I think
Oh,
about
yeah.
safeguard, filtering,
Mm-hmm.
covering. That's what kind of comes to my mind when I think about safeguarding. What are your thoughts on well-being when you think about the term well-being? So, audience, let's go to that well-being.
Mm.
Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Again, when I think about well-being, I'm talking about being well. I'm talking about the totality of who I am. And well-being, really is, am I being well? So if I'm being well, then I want to protect that. And when we kind of say well-being, kind of throw it out there, but it may seem just an emotional thing. But well-being is just who we are, everything. It could be
Mm,
protecting our leisure, protecting our
mm,
rest,
mhm,
because without rest, there is no well-being. Without happiness, without the basic necessities that we need, there's no well-being.
mm,
Physically, all of these things make up
mm,
well-being, being well.
mm.
That's my
Good.
interpretation.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, and I think that's what we're looking for, is how does this really, your thoughts. And so Polly is saying well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, bro, good to see you. It's
Hey,
my big
bro.
bro. Well-being
Yeah.
to me is taking care of oneself. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that, Polly. Nichelle says well-being, in tune, inwardly
Oh,
and
I like
outwardly.
I like
Mhm.
that. In
Thank you for
tune.
sharing that, Nichelle.
Mm.
Audrey says well-being, healthy and whole in all meaningful aspects
Mm.
of life. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Alicia says well-being, overall condition. Hmm. Mental,
Mm.
spiritual, physical. Okay, folks. So we're looking
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
safeguarding, right? What resonates with you. We're thinking about well-being. All right, so we've got that together. So now let's go through renewal practices, because we want to take some time. There's a lot going on in the world. And so I think about what people are saying, how they're feeling, what they're thinking. And it's important this month, all right, after we've gone through this month of stewarding our talents and our managing our gifts, and looking at our dreams. And there's been some incredible tea time renewal practices we've had. We looked at last week about the power of questions. Today I want to dig into things that we need to do in order for us to be able to do that. Monique says well-being is taking care of myself and being okay with saying no to avoid
Yes.
overextending myself. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing. And if you're out there in
Yes.
our tea time community today, it's good. Take notes from one another. Think about what others are saying, because that's how we're going to build our resilience today. All right, let's run in. Let's go. Now let's dig in. All right, I want to dig in today.
I'm ready.
Let's dig in. So, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge your feelings and your thoughts. That's the first thing we're going to do to safeguard. You
Mhm.
got to acknowledge where you are. That's validation. Acknowledge them. Don't dismiss them. Don't spiritualize them. Don't just analyze them. Don't break them down at the moment. Just acknowledge what's going on inside of you. Acknowledge it. I'm acknowledging what I feel, and I'm acknowledging what I'm thinking, because we got to navigate it.
That's
We
right.
got to navigate this. And so, I know a lot of times we start out tea time with what, Mel? Locate yourself. And
Mhm.
so locate yourself is somewhat of an acknowledgement. You're looking at your state of being. You're looking at where you are. Sometimes it's not good. Sometimes it is good. So, and it's not about putting, any positive or negative to it. It's an acknowledgement. This is just where I am. And the goal of locating yourself and acknowledging is to give you a place to locate where you are so that you can now make a plan or a determination. What are you going to do with those feelings? And what are you going to do with those thoughts? So it's really about locating, because a lot of times what's happening in the world today, it can take you by surprise. There's constant chaos, constant confusion. There's a lot of information overload that's out there, Carmela. It's just constant.
That's right.
People just sending you reels, sending you videos, sending you this, and it's constant barrage of information to the point that we want to make sure we're thinking about how are we safeguarding ourselves from what's on the outside that gets on the inside, and then what's on the inside of us that gets on the outside.
All right.
You got to acknowledge where you are.
That's right.
Now we don't acknowledge, Carmela, to stay the same, though. See, that's the thing. All right. We don't be, well, this is how I am. That's fine. But acknowledging your feelings and thoughts is a locator. Go ahead. What you say? You were saying something? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think my internet was kind of circling for a second.
Oh, no, you're
no,
fine.
I was saying, what did you say? I was asking, what did you say? I like what you were saying.
What I was saying is that when we acknowledge, that's the locator, but it's not to keep us stuck. So when we're, it's acknowledge. And it's also acknowledging where I am stuck, because sometimes we are. And so it's important to acknowledge I'm stuck right now. This is just where things are. So acknowledgement is validation. Acknowledgement is recognition. And so everybody's trying to figure out what's happening right now across the world, across our country, across your region. So this is really looking at your well-being. Everybody talked about safeguarding. Thank you for that. We talked about well-being. Thank you for that. And so I think what it is we have to be able to look at how do we navigate the upheaval. So part of this is we want to start out with acknowledgement. I want everybody to write down what it is, what thoughts come to you right now, and accept it. Okay, everybody write down the word accept, acknowledge and accept. Okay, acknowledge and accept. I'm acknowledging what I'm feeling. I'm acknowledging what I'm thinking, and I'm using both. All right, we're not just using feelings, because sometimes we have the thoughts that aren't where they need to be, and they come and they go. All right, so we want to acknowledge what's taking place. I'm acknowledging my thinking, I'm acknowledging my feeling, and I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it.
That's good. That's really
however
good.
You want to name it. I can't tell you what words to use, but however you name it, you need to name it, because that's a fact to you. That's what the state that you're in. So acknowledging not just your feelings, but acknowledging your thinking or your thoughts, where you are, because what that does is if you suppress them, they have a way of hanging around when you suppress them.
That's right.
Carmela, when we just suppress them and push them down, and especially those that are deep. Oh no, I'm great. Okay. When you suppress, eventually it's going to stay around. Like a gnat in the South. It's just going to be like a gnat in your ear. And you'll be, because you're trying to suppress it. It'll get all in your ear and be all. That's what happens when you suppress.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the importance of acknowledging feelings and thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I think that's very important. As I was listening and I was writing down, being real, be real. That's really what I'm getting from what you're talking about, being real with. And one thing that just dropped, as I was writing, is authenticate your feelings and your thoughts. Authenticate it. Because like you were saying, suppressing, I mean, if you suppress what you are you know, navigating through, it's going to show up somewhere else. It's going to show up physically. It may show up in your mood. It's going to show up in how you handle things. It's going to show up somewhere else. And that particular place of suppressing doesn't do us any good. And so as I go back to what you were saying about being real with what we're feeling, acknowledging and accepting it, it's while you're doing that, you're asking yourself, is this right for me? Is this serving me? Is this edifying me? And then, then you could start asking your questions and trying to figure out a solution. But if you don't acknowledge it and you suppress it, then it's going to still show up someplace else.
Yes, it will.
That's my 2 cents.
Oh, that's good. No, I appreciate that. I want to hear from the audience as well. Anybody want to come on? Let me know. Let us know. We got something to say. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
All right. Monique says this is so good. We must be honest about how we are feeling. Self-awareness is key. Nicole says acknowledgement over avoidance. Head in the sand mentality won't make whatever it is disappear. Okay, now. Thank you for sharing that with us. There is a space of uncertainty in our society today. Yes and yes. That is why we're having this discussion. All right. I'll even say, if anybody wants to join the discussion, let me know. I'll bring you on. You can say a few things. Come on in. I'll send you the link. You can come in, join this conversation. We want to hear from you. This is tea time. We're building resilience today. You might have some perspectives about this that we can help each other work through. So, ping me. Let me know. Hey, I'm ready. If you're in a good place and want to talk to us, we're here. This is about pausing and resetting and building our resilience. That is important. All right. Alicia says silence breeds. Not acknowledging it. Okay. I like what you said. Authentication. Wow.
Yeah.
Authentication is important. So again, folks, acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge your thoughts. That helps you start working on things so you can deal with them directly. When you acknowledge it, you can deal with them directly rather than building up and potentially, you know what happens, Carmela? There's an explosion. Suppression brings an explosion. It just,
This is the truth.
We're just gonna all be okay. Okay, yeah, you will. Deny, release, head in the sand. I think we read some of that. So again, we want to acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge your thinking, because that helps you deal with them directly. You don't want to have build up and then explode later. Conversations like this that we're having, this is acknowledgement right now.
Yeah.
All right. We're acknowledging where we are. People are acknowledging what they're feeling, what they're thinking. That's important to put it out there and get it going. All right. There's the ouch. Yeah, Alicia, we are all feeling the ouch together.
Yes.
So otherwise you're going to explode. So that's why it's important. You can talk about it with a trusted friend, write them down. For those of you that need to write a poem, get it out. All right. Express them through a creative outlet. Could be art, it could be music, it could be talking to a professional if you need to. But the key thing we want to get across to you today is what we're experiencing right now. Less acknowledge, less acknowledge. All right, everybody acknowledge. So let's keep moving. Next thing I want to say is work on your mindset. Work on your mindset. Now, this is after you acknowledge. Now, Camilla, I can say this. I can acknowledge what I'm feeling and acknowledge what I'm thinking. And so that's a locator, right? Everybody with me? That is a locator. So with the locator, what's going to happen is I move from acknowledgement now to working on my mentality. What's going on? I'm in control. All right. We are in control of whether you choose to view change or this upheaval in a negative way or in a positive way. It's really the choice you make now to determine how you end up feeling. So I'm going to look at what's happening, and I have to think about what I'm seeing right now around me. I'm acknowledging the feeling. I'm acknowledging my thoughts. Number one. But two, now I'm going to move on working on my mindset, because if I stay there, what is that going to do? So acknowledgement is important, but then we got to get to work. So whatever you're acknowledging right now, everybody, tea timers, your next step is, okay, how's Patrick? How am I going to work on my mindset? Because that's what I have control over, Carmela. I have control over my mindset. I may not have control over the upheaval. I may not have control over other people's views,
Right.
Polarizing movement and activity. There are things that are just beyond my control. I cannot, just this week, it's supposed to be almost 70 degrees right now here in North Carolina. And, just a few weeks ago, it was cold, 20, 14. I can't control that, but I can control how I engage that weather, right? And so just in that way, I wanted to think about how are you working on your mindset? That's the question here. How are you working on your mindset? That's the next question we're going to ask. And I know it's nice and quiet out there today, because I think we're thinking through this, Carmela, today. So
yes,
again, work on your mindset. I'm asking you the question, how are you working on it? Assuming that you need to do some work. Okay. So this is for those of us that are doing work. You got to do work. All right. So I want you to think about this. And when you work on your mindset, that is an opportunity for growth. When you're actively working on your mindset. For instance, I when you're dealing with situations, I had to deal with situations where I was under supervision, incredibly negative individuals, just consistently negative, constantly. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't let what's in them get in me, but when you're inundated in it, it does impact you, even though it may not be in you. So there are times I have to say, okay, how can I use this situation as fuel? I started asking questions. How can I use this as an opportunity for expansion? How can I use this as an opportunity for me to dismantle some things, or have an effective corrective conversation? Or how do I present a different solution or perspective on a situation? Working on your mindset puts it back under your control.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask again, how important is it for us to work on our mindset after we acknowledge our feelings and our thoughts? Carmela, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I'm really like a sponge today. One of the things that's jumping out to me the most is going back to what you were saying. Don't validate, don't dismiss, don't analyze, don't spiritualize. But then, also taking this time to work on your mindset. You're with yourself 24 hours a day. I always say that you can't get away from you. You can't get away from yourself. Yeah, you're right. We think but you can't run from yourself. No, and so, with that, I like how you were saying that one word stuck out: choice. We have, we can choose, how we're going to be change agents for ourselves. We can choose that. And this is for me, this is for everybody, because nobody's perfect. We're all in this, like you said from the beginning, we all can glean from this, but asking those questions and really being real with ourselves. What can I do to make a change? Or what can I do in this whole situation to shift the way that I'm thinking about this? And like you said, and then go back to safeguarding my well-being so that I don't, like you said, explode and get in that mode of frustration till you get to the point of that nagging you, like you were saying. And, and so I like how you were saying, we just got to use constructive ways to decompress.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. This is good. This is so rich. Work on your what, everybody? Your mindset. I'm gonna let that sit right there. And the question that we're asking, and let's take a moment to do this. All right. Let's take a moment to do this. How important is it for you to work on your mindset? Let's go ahead and answer that. Carmela answered. What is your answer to that? We're gonna sit here and enjoy this session today. And I want us to think through the importance of how important is it for us to work on our mindset, because again, it's important that we do it, but we need to acknowledge, be honest about where we are. That's the purpose of locating yourself. There's a lot going on out here. So if there's a lot going on out here, does that mean there's a lot going on inside of you? Just because there's a lot going on outside, does that mean there has to be a lot going on inside? That's the question.
Yeah.
All right. And we need to answer that. All right. You know, are you feeling angry? Are you feeling disappointed? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling rejected? Are you feeling alienated? Are you feeling confused? Are you thinking, you know, well, I'm going to say what I got to say. Are you thinking, well, this is what I'm going to do? Are you ruminating over something, constantly thinking through it over and over again, like a cycle? Because whatever we focus on is where our energy is going to be. Right. So we got to acknowledge not just feelings, but thoughts, and as well as work on your mindset. So the question that I want to pose to everyone today, again, and I want you to think through this, if you're writing it down or you're meditating on it, is how important it is for you to work on your mindset. So what are you doing? And then, of course, what are you doing to work on your mindset? All right. Absolutely. Nichelle says here, make the choice to change. Yes, absolutely. Monique says, I try not to allow another person to influence my mood based upon their personal perspectives. Thank you for sharing. This is all good. These phrases. Hey, Nisi, how are you, Auntie? Hello. Your mindset can really affect your mental health. You must protect it at all times. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you all for sharing. So it's important, folks. How important is it for you to work on your mindset, and what are you doing to work on it? All right. This is important. These are just good renewal practices, starting out with the acknowledgement phase. All right. That acknowledgement phase is important. I'm acknowledging some stuff like, okay. All right. Here's the locator. Okay. Important. Here's another one. You can read this, Mel?
Yeah, sure. Nichelle, she's saying it's important for me to work on my mindset so that whatever the matter it is doesn't control me or take a toll on my overall being. Woo.
Thank you for sharing that. All right. Yeah. Ollie says, daily work, daily growth. One can think all is good with your mind until things happen in the world around us. Specifically now with me being a government worker. I have to not allow the news and social media platforms affect my well-being and mindset. It's real and tough, but can be done. All right, Ollie. Thank you for sharing that with us, man. You know, that transparency is key. Authenticity is key. Thank you all for what you're engaging in today. And so this right here, this resilience is helping all of us. I know I'm learning from everybody today. You know, as we're working on acknowledging, as we're working on your mindset, as we're working on focus on what you can control. That's number 3. Using your mindset, focusing on what you can control. You'll drive yourself up the wall trying to focus on what you can't control. You can't control anybody's behaviors. You can't control their words. You can't control their decisions and choices. You can't control their positions. You just can't.
This is good.
So why focus on what you know you can't control?
Yeah.
Just running rampant. Just running rampant. Driving yourself up the wall, worrying about whatever. Look, you can't control that. But what you can control is what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? You can focus on what's going on here and have that mirror effect, right? What's going on with me? So again, I'm going to put this right back up there. Focus on what you can. Write it down, everybody. Matter of fact, in the comments, put on focus. Focus on what you can control. Everybody fill the comments with that word. Focus. All right. We're gonna acknowledge our feelings and thoughts. We're gonna work on your mindset and focus on what you can control. You become more empowered when you focus on what you can control.
Yeah. That's good.
I've wanted Mel to change people's attitudes sometimes. Like, sometimes I want to focus on, can I just turn their head around and Can you focus? You know, but what does that do?
It doesn't do anything.
This is honesty. Like, man, I wish I had the powers of a Jedi. Just do a Jedi mind trick. You will be calm. But it does not, this is not real. Focus, everybody, fill up the comments with the word focus, focus, focus.
Yes, yes.
February is about focus. February is about focus. Fill it up. Focus on what you can control. Go ahead and read this, Mel.
Yes, Audrey. She's saying it's vitally important, not just for me, but for everyone around me. An explosion in me results in not only damage to me, but also collateral damage for everyone around me. And I try to remember that I can be responsible for the injury of others if I don't work on me. Daily work.
Daily work. All right. Folks, fill the comments with focus, focus, focus. Alicia says it is vital to work on it. I'm choosing my battle, letting go of things as I seek to keep my heart and mind right, and choose what I give audience to on a regular. All right. Everybody focus out there.
Focus.
Write it down. Put it in your phone. Put it out there. Put it right there in your, wherever you are, put it on your screensaver. Focus on what I can control. Somebody else send you another meme, another reel, I'm focusing on what I can control. That doesn't mean I'm not denying what's happening. I'm just going to focus on what I know I can control. Because what happens is it's like people pouring water in your boat, or at least poking holes in your boat. So not only am I being flooded, I'm also sinking at the same time.
Wow. That's good.
All right. So
how does that look? What does that look like? Excuse me.
I wonder. Yeah, you're sinking, and also, hey, Dad, see you out there. Focus. All right, turn those focus. Getting there slowly. I tell you. So, focus is important. All right. Now, here's what I mean by that. Here's what we mean when we say focus on what you can control. This is about you can focus on how you spend your time. You can focus on the people you interact with. You can focus on how you react to challenges. And you can focus on the information you receive. Again, you can focus on how you spend your time. If the conversation gets too long, get off the phone. You can focus on the people you interact with, how you react to challenges, and the information you receive. If you're in a group, especially if you're in those chats, sometimes you got to leave the chat. Sometimes you're like, you know what? No. You are in no obligation to continue to inundate, overwhelm, and consume yourself with information that you can't control, but you can control what comes to you.
Yes.
You can control intake. Nobody's shoving food down your throat. You know what I mean? You gonna take this? Yeah. No, nobody's doing that. So you gotta safeguard. Let's go back to that again. Safeguard. Focus on what you can control, everybody. So that's the focus for February is focus. The focus for February is focus. Come on, let's flood the chat again with the word focus. Come on, everybody. Focus, focus, focus. So we need to keep saying it over and over again. You have direct control over yourself and what you choose to do, what you choose to say. And that's also for us. You can control what you say. Okay, you can't just say, I'm just going to say whatever I want to say when I want to say, because that's just how I am. Well, hold on a second. You share in context, and we watch how what we do impact others because of what's happening in our world.
Yeah.
Am I contributing to the fire? It is a proverb that says, if you remove the scoffer, the strife will cease. And we over here thinking, well, that person's not a scoffer. They're a scoffer. Mel, if I say something has a beak and something has feathers, and something has webbed feet and toes, and it goes, what is
It's
it,
a
man?
duck. It's a duck. That's right. That's what it is.
My crack is pretty good. I got to work on my crack, but
oh goodness.
So we're accepting the reality. That's where it is. There's a focus here. That's where it is. So again, focus, everybody. All right. Make sure that we do that. Let's keep going. All right. Reframe challenges as opportunities. Reframe challenges as opportunities. Frankly, to be honest with you, how we deal with certain things is how we approach in terms, this is a mindset issue. Reframing a challenge as an opportunity. So let's ask our question, Mel. How am I reframing what I'm experiencing? How am I reframing what I'm experiencing where it's not about the other person or the other thing or the outside situation? How am I reframing this? Because that person or that situation or that circumstance may not change. But how am I reframing in order for me to have an opportunity? That's really tough. Because it's, we would just love to just shift them and change it. But so what I can do is reframe, just like in a painting, when you change the frame, different colors you see in the painting, in the picture. If it's a brown frame, a white frame, a beige frame, a black frame, a gold frame, the frame can many times determine what you're looking at. Even though the painting does not change, Carmela, at all. It's still the same painting, right? But
That's
once
right.
you do the frame,
it looks different.
That frame brings out something else. So I want us to think about this as reframing. Any thoughts on reframing challenges?
This is just really good. And I like the fact that you were talking about reframing, because I know you always go back to that. And because it's so important that we, like you were saying, go back to yourself. You have to, because you can't control the outside, but you can control the inside. I think that's what Audrey was talking about, looking within. We have to look within and sit with it. And how are we going to adjust the frame so that we can have a better outcome for ourselves? Reframing our challenge, like you said, and turning it into an opportunity to grow. Yeah. So,
So I want to challenge everybody to think about, how are you reframing your challenges? What are you doing? Looking at you, not looking at anybody else. Reframing is not about others. Reframing is not about the thing. Reframing is not about the problem you're looking at. Reframing is about you. What do I need to do? Well, what if it's not you? What if no, it's still about you reframing so that your lens, because that's what you have control over. Sometimes changing your perspective can help you experience the upheaval in a different way, because you're willing to reframe what's happening and what you need to respond. That helps you in anger situations. I'm angry about something. Anger really is there because sometimes it's like something's got to change. Yeah. And so there's got to be something that happens. So therefore I'm angry because of it. So now what do I need to do? Okay, let me stay in control. Let me analyze what this anger message is sending, and then let me harness the energy to make a wise decision. I like to say anger is one letter short of danger, right? And that D represents the decision. What are you deciding to do with it, right? So I want to make sure that I look at, let me stay in control, what I can control. Let me look at, what is this message sending? What is this thought? What is this feeling? What's the message behind this? Then I can move into making sure that energy or that emotion or that thinking is directed in a way that it produces transformation and change. That's important to do that. So, and lastly, a couple more. All right. So again, this is about reframing and then adjusting your expectations. Ooh, goodness gracious. Adjusting your expectations, right? That's important that we adjust expectations, Carmela, Tea Timers. We adjust it. Otherwise, you'll be disappointed every single day.
That's right.
Every day. So you got to be flexible with your expectations, folks. Expectations with yourself and expectations with others. Because if you have rigid expectations, it'll lead to disappointment and frustration because, well, it didn't go out as planned. Well, what was the expectation? What was the agreement with yourself? What was your agreement with others? What was your agreement with a political figure? What was your agreement with your supervisor? What did you expect? Did you create the expectations? Did you agree with the expectations? That's why we started out with acknowledging. All right, so we've got to adjust the expectation so that we can know how to effectively change as well. We become more adept to readily change when we adjust our expectations. Now, if I had more time, I would talk about goals and expectations, but that's another because, for instance, if you have a goal for growth, Carmela, and I say my goal is to grow through every situation, your expectation is now more focused on your growth rather than what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm shifting it. You know what? I'm going to grow through this. I'm going to have a different mentality about how I encounter certain situations. So the expectation is turned on you versus an expectation on something else that somebody just can't agree with. Many times the situation doesn't have the capacity to fulfill our expectations.
This is good.
So we work on us.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this is helpful for everybody.
This is
all right,
really
let's look
good.
at some of these comments here. Monique says the power of reframing. New and fresh perspectives arise when we apply this approach.
Yes.
Alicia says reframe challenges. I've had to ask myself, what lens am I viewing and what I am experiencing? You want to read this one, Charlize?
Yes, Charlicia is saying reframing allows us to see the challenge from a different perspective, to see other solutions that may never would have appeared before. It gives us moments to savor, to experience, to grow, and to heal.
Absolutely. Read this one as well.
Yes, and Audrey, she's saying, woo, adjusting expectations, difficult but necessary.
Yes,
This is
we've
good.
got to adjust expectations. And lastly, folks, 3 points. Be flexible, be patient, and stick to a routine. All right. Certain things you got to be flexible in. All right. What do I mean by that? If you have limited control over something or no control at all, flexibility helps you open to new ways of thinking. Being flexible is critical. I can't control it. I have limited control, but I'm going to be flexible so I don't be rigid and I can adapt to what's happening around me. And I'm going to be patient with myself during this time because adjusting takes a lot of time, Carmela. It does. All right. Being hard on yourself, all that does is going to add more stress to you. So it's okay to feel unsettled. They'll pass once you acknowledge them because you're not suppressing them anymore. And then you start adapting to new circumstances and be gentle, take one day at a time, be patient, and try to stick to a routine. You know, a regular time for bed, late night hours, a regular time to wake up, a regular time to walk, a regular time to meditate, a regular time to relax, a regular time for tea time. Okay? These are important things to help us, folks, safeguard our well-being. Carmela, you got any last thoughts you want to maybe perhaps share concerning being flexible or being patient or sticking to a routine? And our audience, what is one takeaway that's new for you or a takeaway that you're going to work on regarding your safeguarding your well-being? It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else, any other situations, any other social upheaval, but I want you to think about yourself and what you can do differently. Carmela, any thoughts? And then we'll hear from our audience.
Yeah. I really wanted to just pull back on what you were saying about focus. And I like that. That really stuck out. It just kind of brings you back to yourself and focusing on what you can control. And I like those points that you said about how you spend your time and all of those things because they're so important. It just draws you back to you going back to, I guess, not just self-advocate for yourself, but then, like you said, you take care of your well-being, you're, acknowledging where you are, and then taking the time to shift the way you're thinking on how are you going to handle that situation in a constructive way.
Very good.
So that
Thank
helps.
you for sharing.
That's helping. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? We'd love to hear from the audience. What is something you need to do differently? What are you going to do differently? And we'll revisit this again the end of this month. I'm going to come back to this, and I think we need to recap this, Carmela. So I'm thinking maybe the last you and I, hope when we get on, we can go through this again. And hey, how did you, focus on that? Let's get some of these takeaways. Focus, reframe, readjust. Takeaway: acknowledge my feelings and thoughts, being mindful not to suppress. Go ahead.
Focus on what I can control. Adjust my expectation and focus.
All right. What are your takeaways, folks? Again, today we were talking about safeguarding your well-being in a time of upheaval. So look forward to having you back on again. Just a few announcements before we close out. And please continue to share your comments on what your takeaways are. I want to remind everybody, each and every Wednesday, we have our Reforming Culture. Right now, we are teaching on the Kingdom of God each and every Wednesday at 7:30. Want to encourage you to come on out and connect with us, please. Each and every Wednesday, 7:30, we are teaching on the Kingdom of God. We'd love to have you present. Want to remind you also, our Sundays, New You Digital Discipleship every Sunday at 10 a.m. We look forward to you being a part of that. Please reach out and download our mobile app so you can register. Go to our website and to our social media sites so that you can register for our New You Digital Discipleship and our Reforming Culture. Also, would like to share with you today, we do have coming up April 4th and 5th, our prophetic gathering, our 6th prophetic gathering. Our focus this year is the plans I have for you from Jeremiah 29:11. You can register there at the 6th prophetic gathering.eventbrite.com. You see the website there, and you can register. Please share with others. Register today. We will have an incredible time of fellowship, engaging, teaching, facilitation. Look forward to you being there as we are honoring the plans that God has for our lives. And then lastly, want to welcome you to our Tea Time community each and every first, second, and third Tuesdays at noon, and at our fourth Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Our focus for Tea Time is pausing, resetting, and building resilience. And we want you to join us in supporting the Renewal Center. Please, if you would like to, please, you can connect with us. These are the ways that you can support us and donate to the Renewal Center so we can continue to expand our programming, our offerings, our services, what we have to others. You can give through our website, therenewalcenters.com/give. You can text the Renewal Center to 888-364-4483, and that'll take you to a secure way of giving. We do have PayPal and Zelle, which is our email address, therenewalcenter2020@gmail.com. Our Cash App is Cash Renewal Center, and Venmo is at Renewal Center. So I want to thank you for supporting the Renewal Center. Hopefully this content has been a strength to you, it's added to you, it's been a value add to your life holistically and in terms of our renewal practices. So please, we ask you to, consider partnering with the Renewal Center in your giving, in your philanthropy, and how you support things that support other people. And again, you can mail a check or a money order to the P.O. Box 1381, Concord, North Carolina, 28026. Make sure you download the mobile app as well. Just want to remind you of that so that you can stay in contact with us. All right. Well, I hope that today, Carmela, it's been wonderful. I really enjoyed this, and we still got some comments coming in. Folks, their takeaways. All right. Time, energy, focus on things that improve my well-being. Keep pressing. All right. Absolutely. Give things I can't control to God. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for being a part. One more. Be willing to explore and experience new ways of adjusting to the things I have control over and maintaining my mental well-being. Any last words, Carmela? Anything that I didn't cover?
No, this was excellent. I got a lot to chew on. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you welcome? Thanks everybody for being on. I'm going to leave us with a locate yourself exercise. All right. I'll bring that up. Just give you a minute or two to kind of just rest on it, sip your tea, what have you, drink your water, hydrate yourself, take a stretch, and enjoy the rest of your day. Carmela, thanks for being on as usual. This has been a great time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Have a
Patrick.
good day, everybody. And remember, I am Renewal, and let's take care of each other.